The rain was a relentless drum against the windows of our small apartment in Seattle, mirroring the relentless ache in my chest. Alaric, a 43-year-old software engineer, had always found solace in the predictable rhythm of my life. My work, my hobbies, and above all, my marriage to Bronte. We'd been together for 15 years, a seemingly unbreakable bond built on shared dreams, quiet evenings, and the unspoken understanding that we were each other's anchors. Or so I thought. The first tremor of doubt came subtly, a dissonant note in the otherwise harmonious melody of our lives. Bronte, a vibrant and outgoing marketing executive, had always been meticulous about her schedule, but lately her work trips seemed to be increasing in frequency and duration. A big client, she'd say, her voice a little too bright, demanding all my attention. I never questioned it. I trusted her implicitly. Then there were the late-night phone calls. She'd slip out of bed, whispering about urgent matters and time zone differences. When I'd ask about them in the morning, she'd brush them off with a distracted wave of her hand. Just work stuff, Alaric. Nothing for you to worry about. But worry I did. A gnawing unease began to settle in my stomach, a feeling I couldn't shake. The final straw came unexpectedly during a seemingly ordinary Saturday afternoon. Bronte had gone out for a quick coffee with a friend, and I was catching up on some household chores. As I was tidying up our bedroom, I stumbled upon a receipt tucked away in her purse. It was for a luxurious hotel, a place far too extravagant for a casual coffee date. The date on the receipt was from the previous week, the same week she was supposedly on a business trip in Chicago. A cold dread washed over me. My hands trembled as I pulled out my phone and searched for the hotel online. The images that flashed across the screen confirmed my worst fears. A lavish suite with a panoramic view, a rooftop pool, and a spa that promised ultimate relaxation. This wasn't a business trip. This was something else entirely. I tried to call Bronte, but her phone went straight to voicemail. "I'm in a meeting," her recorded voice chirped. "Leave a message and I'll get back to you." I hung up, my heart pounding in my chest. I couldn't leave a message. I needed to confront her, to demand an explanation. But a part of me, the part that still desperately clung to the illusion of our perfect marriage, was terrified of what I might hear. I spent the next few hours in a state of agitated limbo, pacing around the apartment, replaying every conversation, every gesture, every fleeting expression that might have hinted at her deception. I felt like I was trapped in a nightmare, a surreal and horrifying distortion of the life I thought I knew. Finally, as the sun began to set, I heard the click of the key in the door. Bronte walked in, her face flushed, her eyes sparkling with an unnatural brightness. "Hey, honey," she said, her voice a little too cheerful. "How was your day?" I couldn't pretend any longer. The dam of my suppressed emotions burst open, unleashing a torrent of anger, hurt, and disbelief. "Where were you?" I demanded, my voice shaking. "Don't lie to me, Bronte. I know about the hotel." Her face paled. The forced cheerfulness vanished, replaced by a look of guilt and apprehension. She stammered, "Alaric, I can explain." "Explain what?" I interrupted, my voice rising. "Explain why you lied to me. Explain why you were spending the night in a luxury hotel with someone else." She flinched, her eyes darting around the room as if searching for an escape route. "It's not what you think," she mumbled, the oldest and most pathetic excuse in the book. "Then what is it?" I challenged, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "Enlighten me, Bronte. Tell me the truth." For once she hesitated, her lips trembling. Finally she blurted out, "I have been seeing someone else." The words hit me like a physical blow, stealing the air from my lungs. I staggered back, my head spinning, my vision blurring. "Who?" I managed to choke out, the question laced with a mixture of dread and morbid curiosity. "His name is Kendrick," she said, her voice barely a whisper. He's a colleague from work." Kendrick. The name was vaguely familiar. I remembered Bronte mentioning him in passing, describing him as ambitious and charming. I had even met him once or twice at office parties. He had seemed pleasant enough, but I had never paid him much attention. "How long?" I asked, my voice hollow. "A few months," she admitted, her eyes filled with shame. "It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far." "A few months," I repeated, incredulous. "You've been lying to me for months, sneaking around behind my back. And you expect me to believe that it just happened." She started to cry, her tears a pathetic attempt to manipulate my emotions. "Alaric, please," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. I love you. I don't want to lose you. Love me." I scoffed. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this. You wouldn't have betrayed me in the worst possible way. I turned away from her, unable to bear the sight of her tear-streaked face. The apartment, once a sanctuary of love and happiness, now felt like a prison, a constant reminder of her infidelity. "Get out," I said, my voice cold and firm. "I don't want to see you here anymore," she pleaded with me, begging for forgiveness, promising to end the affair. But I was done. The trust was broken, the bond severed. There was no going back. I had to protect myself, to salvage what was left of my dignity. I spent the next few weeks in a daze, navigating the painful process of separation and divorce. The legal proceedings were messy and acrimonious, with Bronte fighting tooth and nail for every asset, every penny. She seemed to have no remorse for her actions, no understanding of the pain she had inflicted. She was simply focused on getting what she wanted. As I sifted through the wreckage of our shattered marriage, I stumbled upon a hidden email account on Bronte's old laptop. Curiosity piqued, I decided to take a look. What I found there sent a fresh wave of nausea washing over me. The email account was filled with correspondence between Bronte and Kendrick. They had been planning their affair for months, exchanging intimate messages, arranging secret rendezvous, and mocking me behind my back. They had even discussed leaving me and starting a new life together. But that wasn't the worst of it. As I scrolled through the emails, I discovered a series of messages that revealed a far more sinister plot. Bronte and Kendrick had been conspiring to sabotage my career, to undermine my reputation at work, and to ultimately get me fired. They had been spreading false rumors about my performance, leaking confidential information to competitors, and even planting malicious code in my projects. Their goal was to destroy my livelihood, to leave me penniless and desperate. I was stunned, speechless with rage and disbelief. How could she do this to me? How could she be so cruel, so vindictive? I had loved her unconditionally, supported her dreams, and always put her needs first. And this was how she repaid me, with betrayal, deceit, and a calculated attempt to ruin my life. A fire ignited within me, a burning desire for revenge. I couldn't let them get away with this. I had to fight back, to expose their treachery, and to make them pay for what they had done. I started by gathering evidence, meticulously documenting every email, every message, every piece of information that proved their conspiracy. I contacted a lawyer, a sharp and experienced litigator who specialized in corporate espionage and defamation cases. She listened to my story with a mixture of sympathy and outrage, and assured me that we had a strong case. We filed a lawsuit against Bronte and Kendrick, alleging defamation, conspiracy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit was a public declaration of war, a clear message that I would not be silenced, that I would not be victimized. The news of the lawsuit spread like wildfire, engulfing Bronte and Kendrick in a storm of controversy and condemnation. Their reputations were shattered, their careers ruined. They became pariahs in their social circles, ostracized and shunned by their friends and colleagues. Kendrick was fired from his job, his professional life in tatters. Bronte's career suffered a similar fate. She was forced to resign from her position, her reputation forever tarnished by the scandal. As the legal proceedings dragged on, Bronte and Kendrick turned on each other, their alliance crumbling under the weight of their guilt and desperation. They blamed each other for the affair, for the conspiracy, for the downfall of their lives. In the end, they were both held accountable for their actions. The court awarded me a substantial settlement, compensating me for the damages they had inflicted on my career and my emotional well-being. But more than the money, I craved justice. With the lawsuit settled, I felt a sense of closure, a weight lifted from my shoulders. I had faced my demons, fought for my rights, and emerged victorious. I had survived the betrayal, the deceit, and the calculated attempt to destroy me. But the scars of the experience remained, a constant reminder of the fragility of trust and the depths of human cruelty. I knew that I would never be the same person again. The innocence was gone, replaced by a hard-won cynicism and a guarded heart. I decided to leave Seattle to start a new chapter in my life, far away from the memories of Bronte and Kendrick. I moved to a small town in Montana, bought a cozy cabin in the mountains, and embraced a simpler, more solitary existence. I spent my days hiking, fishing, and writing. I rediscovered my passion for photography, capturing the beauty of the natural world. I found solace in the quiet solitude of the mountains, healing my wounded soul. Years passed. The pain of the betrayal slowly faded, replaced by a quiet acceptance and a newfound appreciation for the simple things in life. I learned to trust again, cautiously, selectively, but never with the same blind faith I had once placed in Bronte. One day I received a letter from an unknown sender. The return address was a halfway house in Florida. Curiosity piqued, I opened the letter and began to read. The letter was from Bronte. She wrote about her struggles with addiction, her failed attempts to rebuild her life, and her deep remorse for the pain she had caused me. She admitted that she had been selfish, manipulative, and cruel. She acknowledged that she had destroyed our marriage and nearly ruined my life. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She knew that she didn't deserve it. She simply wanted me to know that she understood the magnitude of her mistakes and that she was finally taking responsibility for her actions. I read the letter with a mixture of pity and indifference. I had long since moved on from Bronte, from the anger and resentment that had consumed me for so long. I had found peace in my solitude, healing in my connection with nature, and strength in my own resilience. I didn't respond to the letter. I didn't feel the need to offer forgiveness or to reopen old wounds. I simply tucked it away in a drawer, a reminder of the past and a testament to the power of survival. Life had taught me a harsh lesson, that love can be blind, that trust can be betrayed, and that even the closest relationships can crumble under the weight of deceit. But it had also taught me the importance of self-reliance, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring power of hope. I continued to live my life in the mountains, finding joy in the simple things and cherishing the peace and solitude that I had worked so hard to achieve. I had survived the storm, weathered the betrayal, and emerged stronger and wiser on the other side. And as the rain continued to fall outside my cabin window, I smiled, knowing that I had finally found my own rhythm, my own peace, and my own way to dance in the rain.